Hello students, welcome to the second part, that is on the maintenance and overhauling of the brakes. In the last lecture we saw about the troubleshooting and diagnosis step for the disc and drum brakes, and also the service procedures which is required for the braking system. Right. So in this lecture we will see some of the service procedures in the detail. First we will see about the brake shoe adjustment. The brake shoe adjustment will be required whenever there is a problem in the braking effect. The brake shoe adjustment will be required in case of the drum brakes. Whenever we apply the brakes, then during that time, because of the friction between the shoe and the drum, the shoes will wear out with time to time. With the wearing out, the clearance between the drum and the shoes will increase. So to compensate the clearance, we will have to apply the brakes with an extra effort. So to reduce that effort and to get the better performance of the brakes, the shoes will need an adjustment after some time. In the case of the brakes that we use nowadays, has a self-adjusting system or self-adjusting shoe mechanism that is provided in the brakes. But in the older brakes, where the self-adjusting system was not provided, so in that case, what we require to do is that we require to manually adjust the brake shoes. In the first figure in the leftmost side, you can see the brake that is being freshly rebuilt. That rebuilt brake has the star wheel which is provided at the bottom part of the braking or at the bottom part of the shoes. That star wheel, with rotation of that star wheel, you can expand the shoes in the outer direction. For the adjustment of the brake shoe, what we require to do is that we require to expand the shoes slightly to compensate the clearance between the shoes and the drum. In the second figure, on the top part on the right side, you can see the star wheel that is removed from the brake, and that will operate whenever we rotate the star wheel. The mechanism will move in the inward direction and it will expand the shoes in the outward direction in the opposite force way. The star wheel in the bottom figure, you can see the expanded or exploded view of the star wheel, in which you can easily see the star wheel which will operate or which can be rotated. Let's see the procedure for the brake shoe adjustment. In that you can see the bottom part is the star wheel which is being provided. To rotate the star wheel, simply any object we can use that can rotate the star wheel. To rotate the star wheel, what we will do is that first we have to just release the nut or loosen the nut from the back side. That part, after loosening, can be used to rotate our star wheel. That star wheel with rotation, with slight rotation, will slightly keep expanding our shoes. Like you can see the star wheel is being rotated, and with that the adjustment is connected. After the adjustment of the star wheel, the checking of the braking effect will be done once again after applying the brakes. If it is not proper, then again the star wheel will be rotated, and after getting the result required, the brake shoe adjustment will be completed. Next thing is the replacement of the brake shoe. Whenever the shoe has been totally useless, in that case the replacement of the brake shoes will be done. For that, the first thing that needs to be removed is the retraction spring that is connected to our brake shoe. After removing the retracted spring, the adjusting mechanism which had the star wheel was removed. After removing the system, all the nuts which is connected to our shoes will be removed, and one by one both the shoes will be removed from the system. Like after removing the brake shoes, the next thing that will be kept in the system was the cylinder. That wheel cylinder will be kept on the back plate. After cleaning and required grinding resurfacing processes, the required processes will be done for the brake shoe replacement. After that, the adjustment mechanism with the star wheel will be resurfaced. After resurfacing that adjusting mechanism, all the components will be replaced or the required thing will be replaced as well. After completing all the procedures, the new brake shoe will be attached on the system. After attaching the brake shoes, the calibration is required in the brake shoes or in the new braking system. The calibration will be done by adjusting the required position of the brake shoes, and after the calibration we can get the proper braking effect that is required in the system. So this is how the replacement of the brake shoes will be done in our drum brakes. Right? So at the last, the retraction spring will be attached to our brake shoes so that after releasing the brake it can come back to its original position. Right? So you can see now the calibration is done on the brake pad, and after the calibration the force of the braking is checked. Next thing is the bleeding of the brakes. Now bleeding of the brakes is required again whenever there is air in the braking system. The air reduces our effort, and that effort will again be obtained by doing the bleeding of the brake system. That bleeding can be done in all the four wheels of the vehicle or in one wheel at a time. For that, first thing that needs to be done is that we will remove the top of the master cylinder reservoir. After removing the master cylinder reservoir, we will draw out the old fluid that is being inserted in the brake fluid. After that, what we require to do is that we will fill the master cylinder with the new clean brake fluid. We will replace the top of the master cylinder reservoir with the new cap. After doing the filling of the new oil, next thing that is required to be done is that we will pump the brake pedal for about the 15 times. Then we will prepare the bleeder valve that will be connected to the drum brakes. The bleeder valve will be given in the drum of the braking system. Also, whenever we do the bleeding process, we require two persons. One that will operate the brake pedal, and second that will operate the bleeder valve. For that, next thing that needs to be done is that we will jack up our car whenever we are ready to start the bleeding of the brakes. After that, we will put a tube to the bleeder bolt, and first we will start from the tire which is farthest from the reservoir. We will locate our reservoir, and the tire which is the farthest will be first bleeded. After starting the bleeding process, first thing that will be done is we will put the tube of the other end in the jar in which the brake fluid will be collected. After putting the jar, the helper or the second person will press the brakes, and it will hold the pressing position of the brake. Whenever he will press the brake, the bleeder bolt will be turned in the left in the 1/4 turn. After opening that bleeder turn, the oil will come from the tube and it will be collected in the jar. With the oil, the amount of air bubbles will also come out with that oil. Until that bubbling stops, the bleeder valve will be kept open. After the trickling of the oil is stopped, the bleeder valve will be closed. After closing the valve, only after closing the valve, we can release the brakes. If we release the brake when the bleeder valve is open, then the air will come in from the bleeder valve. Right? So opposite problem will be attached. So why we require two person? Because whenever the brakes is pressed the position, at that time only we can open the bleeder valve. Next thing is that maximum 5 to 6 times this procedure will have to be repeated so that all the amount of air gets exited from the hydraulic system. Also, we will repeat the procedure for all the brakes starting from the farthest tire. we will start coming in the inward side. You can see in the second figure that from L1, L2, L3 and L4. So that whole of the system will be removed from the edge by following this procedure of starting from the farthest tire and coming in the near tire in the stepwise manner. So this is how the bleeding process on the vehicle can be done. Next thing is the air brakes. Now air brakes is the braking system that is widely used in the heavy vehicles or the bus systems. Now air brake has mainly two components, that is push-rod and the second one is the slack adjuster. Let's see how the air brakes work. So you can see in the video that air brakes has three components, that is air chamber, push-rod and slack adjuster. Air chamber will be given whenever we are using the pneumatic system. It will be connected with push-rod and the slack adjuster will be connected to our operating mechanism. In that case, the S-cam is provided as an operating mechanism. S-cam is adjusted in between the two shoes, and whenever we operate our slack adjuster by operating the brakes, the S-cam will move the two shoes in the outward direction, and this is how the brakings will be obtained. You can see the brakes whenever we apply. When we push our brake pedal, the slack adjuster will move in the rightward direction. With that, the S-cam will expand our two shoes. And this is how, whenever we apply the brakes, we can get the braking. If the slack adjuster is defective, then S-cam will not be operated and braking will not be obtained. You can see if the slack adjuster was defaulted, in that case, the braking was not obtained. So in case of the air brake service, there are a few points that needs to be kept in mind. The first thing is that we will release the air in the system. Whenever we start the service of the air brakes, first thing is that we need to release the air in the system. Second, we will check the push rod. If the push rod is faulty, then we need to repair or replace the push rod. And the last thing is we will adjust the push rod if it requires the repairing procedure. So in this case, we saw about the brake shoe adjustment, the brake shoe replacement, the bleeding process, and at last we saw briefly about the air brakes. So in the next lecture, we will start with the maintenance and overhauling of the various systems that has not been covered until now. So until then, thank you so much.